Are we?
Yes,
Can we
yes,
start?
absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. Namaste and a very warm welcome to all our participants, to all the students who are part of this microeconomics for beginners. Today is a very important day for us. This is our last live session, and I'm both happy and sad. So I have with me Sonika. You must have seen her videos, and I have with me Neha. Even Puneet is here. Puneet, come.
Yes, ma'am.
Look at the screen out there. So Puneet is
Namaskar.
also here. Say namaskar, Puneet, to
Namaskar,
everyone.
everyone. Hi.
I'm very happy, but I'm also very sad. And I'm very happy because so many of you joined this course and made it so successful. And we have got excellent feedback. Thank you so much that you enjoyed it. You learned so much. That has um, it's been great for us. I'm also sad because we are coming towards the end of the course, but I guess that's how life goes. Without wasting any more time, I think let's start with our session.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I think we figured out our slides now. So let us just look at what we have done. So how we are doing the session today is we are talking about what we did in every week, and then maybe we'll just pick up a few questions that we've received from you, plus few topics which we thought maybe need more explanation. So first of all, thank you for sharing the questions with us. And Neha and Sonika, do we start now?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Let's get
ma'am.
started.
It's a good start.
How was the experience for you, Sonika, doing this swim?
Yeah, it was a good experience, ma'am. We learned a lot. That's what I can say. It was a entirely new journey for me, and it was wonderful. I can say a very learning, enriching experience.
And Neha, wasn't it so fulfilling when we received all those feedbacks?
Absolutely,
And, yeah?
absolutely. And this was a rerun for us. So
Yes.
the first cycle went well, and the second cycle went equally well. So it was a very
Yes.
good experience for us.
Yes. Okay, so in the first week, what we started with an introduction to economics. We spoke about nature and scope of economics. We had some basic questions in economics, and we spoke about positive and normative economics. But at this point, maybe to make it more clear, Sonika, if you were to explain to students, and who are the major players in any economy?
Thank you for the question, ma'am. If you look at an economy, there are multiple players, multiple stakeholders. But for simplicity, we can divide them into four broad categories. We can say the first is consumers, that is you and me, who actually consume products, who consume services, whatever is made by the producers. And they also are an agent which lead to the formation of demand curve. The second important player can be the producers, and producers are the one who produce. So they are the agent which are actually very important for formation of the supply curve.
Correct.
The third one is a market, which means a place where these buyers or the consumers and these sellers or the producers they meet. And in today's world, we can't only talk about the physical markets; it's virtual also.
Yeah, true.
So they're playing great role. And the fourth important player is the government. Government is very, very important because they actually give right direction to any economy. So they make a lot of policies, they make a lot of guidelines and try to make sure that economy is in the right path. However, as a subject, if we look at microeconomics, we generally talk about the consumption and the supply side. So majorly it deals with the consumers and producers.
That's a wonderful and such a easy explain. The way you've put it, Sonika, I
Thank you.
hope our viewers have understood it well. You explained it in such easy manner and very simple language.
Thank you.
So, I mean, in a way, a revision of what we did in the first week. But that brings me to the next question, Neha. How would you explain opportunity cost?
Great. So when you look at opportunity cost, it's called as an alternative cost.
Okay.
See, we always have a choice. So when we make a choice, we do like a cost benefit analysis. All right. We're selecting something and we're letting go of something. So what we let go of, that's called as the opportunity cost. I'll give you an example. Let's say a business wants to set up a new plant and they're looking at location A and location B. They decide to go ahead with location A after doing a cost benefit analysis. They've let go of location B. So that value that they've let go of is called as opportunity cost. Okay, let's look at, for example, the share market or investing in stocks. Again, you're taking a choice. You're making a choice. Do I invest in stock A or stock B.
Yes.
Let's say I go ahead with stock A, I've let go of stock B. That's my opportunity cost. For our learners, many of them look at multiple colleges that they want to pursue further education from. Again, there is an analysis which is going on, and then they take a conscious decision. Okay, I want to go for college A, and I've let go of college B. That is the opportunity cost. So that's called as the alternative cost, the value which we are missing out on because of the selection that we've made. That's the opportunity cost.
So again, explained so nicely, so beautifully. But I think that was also the unique point of our course. We
Absolutely.
tried explaining, discussing everything about microeconomics with a lot of examples
Absolutely.
and examples from everyday life.
Exactly.
Because the whole purpose was that everyone should be able to understand and appreciate microeconomics and make it part of their life.
True.
Okay, I can go on and on, but let's go to the next week. So we discussed about the concept of utility, the cardinal approach to utility, the law of diminishing marginal utility. We also spoke about ordinal approach to utility, but let's again most probably summarize and sort of help our learners understand by asking just two questions which were asked by our learners. So number one, what is utility? Sonika, would you like to take this?
No, absolutely, ma'am. Utility is a very beautiful concept, and it's very much relevant to all of us. For example, as a consumer, we consume a lot of things, and we look forward to consume more and more. But the simple question which I would love to ask is why we consume. And the answer to it is because it gives us happiness and it gives us satisfaction.
True.
And that's what utility is all about. So utility is all about the satisfaction which a consumer get when he consumes goods and services. What is interesting about utility is also that utility is different for different people. For example, the same ice cream may give different utility to me, to different to Neha, and different to ma'am, to you. So why? Because it depends upon the taste and preference of the consumer. Also, one more thing which actually is interesting is that there are different viewpoints on how utility can be measured. So there are certain set of researcher which says that utility cannot be measured, and there are certain set of researchers and authors and scholars who says that utility can be measured. So we can have two different approaches. One is cardinal approach to utility, and another is ordinal approach. So when you talk about cardinal approach to utility, the main person who is behind it was Alfred Marshall, and he said that yes, utility can be actually numbered like 1, 2, 3. While when we talk about ordinal approach, it says that you can't give a cardinal number like 1, 2, 3. You can only give order. That means you can only rank them. That okay, this is better. This is my next choice. That is the third choice and fourth choice, and so on. So these are the two interesting things which I find about utility. One, it's very subjective in nature, and second, different scholars think about it in different ways and says that it can be measured or it cannot be measured. So that's something interesting.
On that note, I think once the live session is over, we must go and have ice cream because it's very hot in this part of the country. And then we will decide ordinal utility, which flavor is ranked number 1, 2, and 3.
That's a good one.
Okay, so let's, Neha, I come to you with the next question, which has been asked by our viewers, which is, what is the law of diminishing marginal utility, or LDMU as they call it?
All right, perfect. So we've understood what is utility. We've understood the two approaches to utility. Now, when you look, let's understand a little further what is marginal utility. So marginal utility is that extra satisfaction that we get by consuming an extra unit of a good or service. Okay. Now, what the law of diminishing marginal utility says that as long as everything is going on well, the more we start consuming, that satisfaction reduces as the consumption increases. All right. So let's take the example of the ice cream. It's hot. We want to eat the ice cream. Okay. And we say, okay, let's go have an ice cream. So when we eat that first bite of the ice cream, we're going to appreciate it. Okay. And we're going to say that, okay, this is what I'm very satisfied. I'm feeling very cool, and it's cooled me off, and I'm enjoying my ice cream. We finish the first ice cream and we say, okay, let's go for one more ice cream. It's not going to hit the same level of satisfaction. Because at some point we're not still, feeling hot. We're still not feeling parched, and we're not looking at the ice cream the way we looked at the first ice cream. Okay, we still managed the second, and let's say now we want to have one more ice cream. That satisfaction is going to drop.
Yes.
And that's what this law of diminishing marginal utility talks about. Another example, let's say we go out and get a pizza, and we're very hungry at this point. So we get a pizza with 5 slices, yeah, and we're very hungry. When we take that first slice of pizza, we're going to feel very, very good. The satisfaction is going to be the maximum level. The first slice of pizza is over, we go to the second slice, and it's the satisfaction is still there, but it's not as much as the first slice. Okay. By the time we reach the fourth slice, we've reached the point where we just don't want it anymore.
True.
The fifth slice could be a negative utility.
Yes.
And that's what this law talks about.
It's such an important law. I mean, from any perspective, whether it's a
Yes.
daily life perspective or business perspective, we need to understand that even if we like something,
Yeah.
there's a limit.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean,
Absolutely.
so both these concepts, learners, what is utility, what is the law of diminishing marginal utility, are very important. And we hope with these simple examples, even if you had any doubts, it's now absolutely clear and you understand them well. Okay, let's get to the third week. And in the third week, we covered demand. We covered factors affecting demand. We covered law of demand. We also covered individual and market demand. And finally, we spoke about the exceptions to the law of demand. Now, again, this is extremely important when we are talking about demand and the different levels and the different things associated with demand. So, Sonika, I mean, I would like to understand that what is the difference between substitute and complementary goods?
Wonderful question, ma'am. Substitute and complementary goods. The name itself clarifies what it is. So first I will talk about substitute good and then later on about the complementary goods. So when I'm saying substitute, that means these are the goods which can act as a substitute to each other. That means the consumer need can be satisfied either from the both.
Okay.
For example, tea and coffee. So tea and coffee may act as a substitute, where the need of the consumer can be satisfied either by having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. So they act as a substitute good. What is interesting about substitute good is that when there is an increase in price of one, there will be increase in the demand of that. So there is a positive relationship between these two goods, and therefore they are also called substitute goods. Again, when I come to complementary goods complement each other. That means they have an inverse relationship. That means when the price of one goes up, the demand of second will go down. For example, petrol and car. So we can say that if the prices of petrol go up, there can be cases that the demand for car will go down. So they complement each other, and therefore they are termed as complementary goods.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so Neha, I mean, since as she said, petrol price goes up and the car
Car
demand
demand.
may come down. And since this whole week was about demand, so what is the law of demand?
So again, law of demand is a very important and fundamental concept in microeconomics, and it talks about an inverse relation between the quantity demanded and price. So what the law of demand fundamentally says that, as you know, all things remain constant, the quantity demanded of a product would reduce if the price increases. So as price increases, quantity demanded would reduce and vice versa. Okay, let's take a simple example. Let's say there is a coffee shop and this person is selling a cup of coffee for, let's say, 50 rupees. Now, if he increases the price of coffee, let's say to 70 rupees, the demand is going to fall because people are price sensitive. On the other hand, if he had reduced the price of coffee to 30 rupees, the demand would probably see an increase because suddenly price conscious people have realize there's a drop in price and they're going to demand more of a quantity. So that is what the law of demand is. Having said that, there are exceptions to the law of demand, and when we looked at Unit 3, we've beautifully covered all the exceptions to the law of demand.
I was just going to say that the same thing that learners, I mean, Dr. Neha has explained the law of demand beautifully, but actually, as she said, there are exceptions to this law of demand. So when you're revising week 3, do remember to also look at the exceptions to the law of demand. Okay, week 4. Week 4 was another interesting week where we went further understanding demand, and we discussed elasticity of demand, price elasticity of demand, the factors affecting the price elasticity of demand, and the income and cost elasticity of demand. So again, to make some terms absolutely simple for you, Sonika, what is elasticity of demand?
Great, ma'am. As Dr. Neha very rightly explained that there is an inverse relationship between demand and price, and this is the law of demand. But law of demand does not talk about how much. That means the change in price will affect demand by how much. That is something which is covered by elasticity of demand.
Correct.
So, what does the term elasticity here mean? It means responsiveness. That means how much the demand is responsive towards the other variable. And this variable can be income, this variable can be price, this variable can be price of complementary goods or a substitute good. So, if I want to sum it up or summarize it or give you a definition of elasticity of demand, it is simply the change in the quantity demanded of a particular product because of the changes of prices or any other factors which affects the demand. And interestingly, the effect of prices may be different. For example, there may be no effect on demand, and we call it as inelastic demand. There can be effect which may be equal to one, where we say it's unitary elasticity. So there can be different type of elasticity depending upon whether we are getting the number which is below one or above one. So that's how we define it.
So Neha, what are the factors which are affecting this price elasticity of demand?
So there are numerous factors that affect the price elasticity of demand. It could be the nature of commodity. We spoke about our substitutes. It could be the availability of substitutes. So if there are more substitutes available, there would be a higher elasticity of demand. Okay. It could also be the time frame that you're looking at. It could be at whether you're looking at a necessity good or you're looking at luxury good. Now, for necessity goods, even if price increase, we will go ahead and buy it. Whereas for luxury goods, we will stay back and maybe think of whether do I really want to buy this particular good or not. Okay. It looks at also another thing could be the consumer surplus. So if there's already a surplus of the product in our household, maybe we don't really want to go ahead and spend and buy it. You could also consider brand loyalty. I'm so loyal to a brand that if the price also increase, I'll still go ahead and buy
Yes,
it.
absolutely.
So these are typically, by and large, the factors that impact the price elasticity of demand.
Okay. Let's just see what we did in week 5. We then discussed factors of production. We discussed law of variable proportion, the returns to scale, cost concepts, short run cost curves, long run cost curves. So, learners, when you're doing week 5 or any week for that matter, I mean, please ensure that you don't just understand the definition, you are also able to come up with examples.
Yes.
And not the examples that we have discussed in the videos, examples that you come up on your own, because that's one of the best ways to see whether you have understood the concept or not. And that brings me to the next question, Sonika. What are factors of production? How would you define them?
Okay, ma'am, I would love to define first or simplify what is production actually. So, production is simply a process where anybody they use resources and they produce goods and services. That means we add value to the resources which we have. There may be multiple factors, but in order to make it may make it easy, we can classify them into 4 broad categories. So, number 1 is land, which is anything which is underground or open. The second one is labor. Labor means the human skill, the expertise, our knowledge, our effort. It can be physical effort, it can be mental effort. The third factor of production is the capital, which include machinery, equipment, anything, buildings, and so on. The fourth factor of production is, of course, the entrepreneur, because he or she is the one who is taking the entire risk. He is or she is the one who is bringing all the other factor of production together.
True.
And this person has the managerial ability. This person also have the aptitude towards risk and the ability to take risk. So, to summarize, I can say that you can classify factors of production into 4 broad categories: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur.
And Neha, how does one differentiate between short run and long run costs?
Okay, so now again, 2 unique concepts. When you look at short run costs, these are costs incurred when the inputs are fixed.
Okay.
And long run costs have inputs which are variable. So what does this mean? Now, short run costs, what are your fixed inputs? For example, you're investing in land, that is fixed. You're investing in heavy machinery, that is fixed. Okay, so it has a combination of fixed costs and a little bit of variable cost. What are your variable costs? It could be your daily operating expenses, it could be your labor costs. So when you look at short run costs, these are fixed inputs and a little bit of variable costs. On the other hand, long run costs are variable. Okay, they're flexible and they adapt to changes in the external environment. So for example, labor costs or technology costs or your working capital management, the way you deal with it. So what businesses strive to achieve in long run costs are economies of scale. So as you increase your production capacity, the unit cost per unit produced reduces, and that is very common in long run costs. So this is a fundamental difference between short run costs and long run costs.
Okay, we are almost towards the end of our weeks, and in week 6, we covered revenue concepts, factors affecting supply and law of supply, exceptions to the law of supply and elasticity of supply. We discussed market equilibrium, and we also discussed market structure. And when we are discussing these concepts and the role of government in affecting the supply in an economy is extremely important. But can you elaborate more on that, Sanika?
One very rightly said that the role of government in affecting supply in an economy is very, very, very important. And how is it important is because it's the government, they are the agent who actually create a lot of policies. They are the one which create fiscal policies. They are the one which implement different taxation structures. For example, government feels that this is a product which is very, very necessary, which has to be affordable by the masses. They may not take too much taxes out of those particular industries or companies, while they may feel that this is a luxury and this is something which is not necessary for the survival. They may impose heavy taxes. So they are the one who decides that which product is a necessity and which products can be considered as a luxury. So and beside this, it's not only that these fiscal policy, but government also monitors, regulates monopoly in the market. They also promote fair competition in the market. They try to actually promote price stability, and they also create monetary policy, fiscal policy, and that's how they actually affect the entire economy and its supply.
Yes, yes. Very, very important role of the government. Neha, we received a lot of questions from the learners. They've asked monopoly market structure and monopolistic competition market structure. Are they same? If yes, then how? If not, then why not? I mean, they're very confused about these two definitions.
All right, they are not the same. So when you talk about monopoly, you're talking about a single seller who has control over the market. And there is no substitute or similar substitute for that product, goods or service. An example could be Indian Railways.
Yes.
All right. Now, when you look at these markets, they're characterized by a single seller. Okay, there's going to be price discrimination because there is a single seller in the market. Okay, entry is very difficult into such markets, and you will not have any substitutes, or you will not have any similar substitutes. That's what monopoly looks like. When you look at a monopolistic competition, you're combining monopoly and perfect competition. All right. So this is typically sellers who sell similar products but not identical products. Okay. So for example, if you look at restaurants are similar. Okay. But within that restaurant, their propositions could be very, very different.
Yes.
What they're offering you, their price range, etc., is going to be different. Look at clothing ranges. Okay. You have different brands targeting different segments of society. Again, it's the clothing which is similar but not identical. So when you talk about monopolistic competition, that's what monopolistic market structure looks like.
Thank you. I mean, that really clears a lot of doubts for our people. We had 6 weeks, and we have tried to cover all the weeks for you. However, please go back, listen to the videos, the exercises that we have recommended. Please do them. I hope you are doing the evaluations also. Read, the other materials that we have shared, the extra materials. The due date for all the weekly assessments is 10th April 2025. Please note this. You need to submit your weekly assessments latest by 10th April 2025. I hope you're submitting them after the end of every week. If not, start now. And the exam registration, which is the final exam registration, that will be announced soon. It will be announced on the page,
Yes,
and also on the Swayam homepage. So keep a watch for that. It will be a computer-based exam. There will be 50 MCQs carrying 2 marks each. And you would be given an admit card, which you can download. They will give you a date, download that admit card. All the exam center details would be there. And please appear for the exam at the allotted exam center with your admit card and a government authorized photo ID. I hope you all know what the grading policy is. Those weekend assessments are 25%, carry 25% weightage, which you have to submit latest by 10th April 2025. So please complete those weekend assessments. The final exam, which is a computer-based exam for which you will generate an admit card and you have to go to an exam center, that carries 75% weightage. Okay, and you have to get at least 40% marks and above in weekend assessment, 40% marks and above in the final proctored exam, and you must you must register for the exam. Please register with the same
Email ID.
email ID that you have used to register earlier. Okay, so if you use a different email ID, you will not be considered for the certificate. We are emphasizing this a lot because we want you to appear for the exam and do well. We are towards the end of our. We are here towards the end of our session. We enjoyed making Swayam. We really enjoyed making this. We were very happy when it got a rerun. We had a lovely experience.
Yes.
We hope you had a lovely
Absolutely,
time doing it. And since Puneet is also here, Puneet, come.
Yes,
In the final frame, let's have pull up a chair now. So we are all in our computer lab. It's a beautiful computer lab. And I have my team members also over here. Nitin, come.
Please come.
The one who has helped us a lot. So all the members are not here. Some of the members are away. Come, Nitin. But this is my team. It has been lovely interacting with you. This is Sonika. This is Adya. This is Nitin. This is Puneet. And this is Neha. So look forward to you scoring absolutely great in all the exams. Thank you so much for
All
being
the
here.
best.
Bye.
All the
Bye.
best.
Take care.
Bye-bye.